What's up, you guys? Welcome back to The Iconic Show. It's your host, Inam Khan. In today's special video, I had the chance to sit down with one of the most iconic, see what I did there? Female Muslim entrepreneurs of our time. Lisa Vogel sat down and was nice enough to give me some of her time to pick her brains about e-commerce, entrepreneurship, and just the process of getting her business into Macy's. I hope you guys enjoyed this interview. Make sure you get your 2 free stocks at Webull when you sign up using my link below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. All right, guys, welcome to The Iconic Show. So today we got someone really special. We got Lisa Vogel with us. Lisa Vogel is the founder of Verona Collection, and you guys may have heard of it. Verona Collection actually went viral a few years ago because they were the first modest brand to make it onto Macy's. So without further ado, we have Lisa Vogel here. If you want, you can give us a quick 2-minute rundown of Verona Collection, of yourself and the background of it. So
sure. Well, first of all, I'm co-founder. My partner never gets the recognition she deserves. She doesn't like the spotlight. Neither do I. But she really does not like to do any public, interviews or anything like that. So her name's Ala Amus. I'd like to give her the credit.
What was her name? Ala what?
Ala Amus. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I want to give her the credit she deserves. But honestly, that's kind of the biggest, it's a difficult question to answer because it's where do I go? So it's a modest fashion brand. We started in 2015. Honestly, the very short answer is it started out of need. Alat was born Muslim, wore the hijab since, teenage years. I started wearing the hijab right after I converted in 2011. And it was really difficult to find modest fashion clothing. So it came down to just a need. We started with just $7,000, shipping out of our closets, very humble. And then after, I think, 2 weeks, alhamdulillah, we sold out. And that was in 2015. Yeah. So we really felt like at that moment, there was something there. Sisters just like us, we were in the same struggle, trying to dress modestly, but was so difficult to look good at the same time because we were constantly mixing and matching. And after that, I think 3 years later, we launched in Macy's as the first modest fashion brand in an American department store.
Wow, that's awesome. I mean, I semi get the struggle. I got 4 sisters, so I know it's always.
So you see it.
yeah, I see it. I see it too much sometimes, but I get where it's coming from. And that you actually answered 2 of the big questions I had. First of all, was there a specific moment that you realized you're onto something? And it seems like you kind of knew right off the bat. You sold out in 2 weeks. From there on out, was it just smooth sailing it, or did you have moments where you were double thinking and maybe you had double thoughts of the whole business, and maybe there were even failures?
There are so many failures that the public does not see. And everything looks amazing when you see things in the press and you see all the success, but really being in the press is not a measure of success. And that's the reality of it. People that get into business think that it's oh, they're so big, they're so successful, they had this major feature. That has nothing to do with success. That is just completely a persona that, I like to keep it real always. And I wish I could say all the failures we've had, but I can't say things publicly. However, there are roadblocks constantly in business. And one thing I tell somebody, give advice if I'm worthy of giving advice.
Of course you are.
I don't like that because I'm learning as I go too. You know what I mean? We're all in the same journey and always trying to improve ourselves. Is you have to be resilient in business and understand that you will have roadblocks constantly. And people that give up and don't learn how to handle those roadblocks are the ones that fail. The ones that succeed are the ones that take every single day as it comes, realize that there's going to be a new challenge that day, figure it out in the best way possible, and keep moving forward. So on the business aspect, failures, there were times when I felt like I wanted to give up nonstop. But as far as the market and the need, that was always there. I constantly felt like, we need to keep serving our community. This needs to be available for our sisters. So keep going.
Well, okay, because I want to make this more business oriented. Do you feel like these days it's getting more saturated, or do you
Oh,
feel like there's a
100%.
lot
Yeah.
of them?
There's a lot more brands but that's where my faith comes in, and not necessarily answering your business question.
Yeah.
But I feel and truly feel this, that there's enough buttercup for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can still be successful and another brand can be equally as successful.
And just to quickly cut you off there, I feel like that is one of the patterns I notice in entrepreneurs all the time, where they don't have this scarcity mindset. They have this abundance mindset where there's enough money and enough sales to go around for everyone. It's not something that's limited. And your success doesn't mean that you're going to take away from me, and my success shouldn't mean that I'm taking away from you. So that's definitely something I notice all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Like even though there's X amount of Muslims, or women that might wear the headscarf or maybe not wear the scarf but want to dress modestly, there's other items to look into. There's luxury hijab brands. There's more affordable, mainstream hijab brands. There's more where they're gearing to the mass market. So just because it might be the same customer, you can still fill another niche.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Again, this goes back to my sisters. I saw a product the other day, and I was thinking, I'm like, how did I not think about this? So, so a lot of hijabis, they have like the safety pins they use and stuff. So this company, they had magnets that they used.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so smart.
It's the new trend, and we're actually releasing magnets in about 2 weeks. So.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, next question is, how long did it take? Okay, before I go on more business questions, just you mentioned that, you like being real. And I just wanted to give a quick personal story. I actually used to have, I started a business in like 2018, 2017 as well. It was a sock business. It was a colorful sock business. And I remember I started attending these ICNA and ISNA conventions to sell socks. And around that time is when Verona Collection was going viral because, they got into Macy's, and it was a huge deal. It was definitely a huge deal. And I remember seeing you at Starbucks, and I asked you for them to...
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't remember, but I just thought it was so nice that, first of all, I think before that, I sent you an email and you actually responded, which I was like, wow, she actually responds. I really appreciated that you took your time out to do that. And again, it shows you're here to interview again. And I really do appreciate that. And then second, you actually gave me some really good tips about e-commerce and everything. So I just wanted to say, I do appreciate that. You are real.
Thank you.
So how long was Verona Collection in business before you guys got into Macy's? Or how did that whole Macy's process go?
So 2000, I'll kind of give you a little bit of a timeline to give you the backstory. So 2015, we launched just out of our closets, like I mentioned. Things are going. Sorry, my emails are should turn that off. Yeah. Things are going really well. The following year, closer to 2017, we launched in store in Florida. I had moved away from Dallas, and I now live in Orlando. Mm-hmm. We started getting a lot of press from that because there weren't really any in-store modest fashion brands in an American mall. So we got, some recognition on like NPR and Huffington Post from that opening. But when Anat and I, we started, we had a goal to want to be into a department store.
Yeah.
It's always good to kind of have your vision and understand where you want to go from the beginning. And so you can kind of work towards that. I did my research as to how to get into a department store. And the reality is you need to build a brand to where they want you. You have to be selling a certain amount of units. So people, yes, you can have amazing product. You can have, great customers, but if you only have 5 customers, they're not exactly just going to give you an opening when, next to Nike and whatever of the brand that they offer. So you have to really be successful in your own. Someone said you have to really sell around 10,000 units before they even look at you. So we really wanted to make sure that we got a name for ourselves out in the Muslim community and to our customers. So I felt like we did that when we got, we had a lot of social media followers and, a lot of name recognition already that we built on our own through hard work, that's when we started approaching department stores. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it's really difficult to get to in front of the buyers because they have so many other brands trying to fight for that position. Mm-hmm. So we found a way to go through the workshop at Macy's, which is basically just an educational week-long program. Only 11 ended up getting accepted out of a lot of applicants. Alhamdulillah, we were one of them. Mm-hmm. So during that week in New York City, we sold our product in Macy's at the Herald. I've told the story so many times, so it's almost like when you tell something so many times.
Yeah.
So we sold our product in Macy's at Herald Square during that workshop, and alhamdulillah, like it was just like so many Muslims came out and supported, and the buyers and the CEO himself of Macy's saw it firsthand. They just couldn't deny that this was the need.
Wow, that's awesome. So a few comments on that. First, I mean, I think that's really important for entrepreneurs, something that you mentioned earlier, is that you got to have a vision from day one. It seems like you guys had a pretty big goal from day one that you guys wanted to get into department stores or at least near there, right? And one of my questions is, what made you choose Orlando to open up a department store in Orlando? I know you're moving to Orlando, but me personally, I'm not too familiar with like the Muslim community there. And then on top of that, like going into a mall, what made you think that was going to be successful?
Well, one, I was here. So it would have been either Dallas or Orlando. You know, my partner's in Dallas. So given that, you know, you're in the early stages, you have to be close to be able to manage things and overlook things. That's one. So it's convenience. That's just the short answer. It was that I'm here, but there's a Muslim community here, just as there is in DC, New York. You know, I'm not sure where you're located, but you know, if you obviously have to be in an area where there's a lot of your customers, and there's plenty of them here. So it was more successful than I thought. People really were coming in, and because they wanted to try stuff on firsthand. But when we launched at Macy's, it didn't make sense to continue with the store because we wanted to focus on department stores. We ended up launching at ASOS the following year. I'm not sure if you're familiar with ASOS.
Where's
ASOS is kind of it's like almost like the IT brand in the UK. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. That's awesome. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is a good one. Do you have a background in business? Because I'm just so curious how, when you saw sales coming in, you were so good at scaling it and then just marketing and everything. How did you know how to go about everything? Did you just learn on the way, or did you have a background in business or experience or something?
Both. So I went to have a degree in cultural studies, which is not anything relevant, but I also have a degree in marketing. However, I would hands down say your college degree does nothing for you. Absolutely nothing. Like I am being dead serious. Like your business degree is not going to teach you anything in business. That's just the reality of it. It comes down to experience. It comes down to mentorship. It comes down to honestly being a person that's curious, that you're not afraid to go and ask people and learn constantly. So that's really where I learned most of my ability to market or scale a business. And both my parents ran successful businesses. My dad was a criminal defense attorney, but he had restaurants and cafes. And then my mom had a very successful business as well. So I grew up around the environment of being able to build your own business. So it's just a mindset that you kind of have to have. And the biggest thing is people don't think big enough. Like you need to think big, and you can't go into anything thinking that you're going to just do an okay job. You have to really feel like you need to be the best and constantly improving yourself and constantly striving for more. So if you have that mentality, you're going to have the drive to constantly do what it takes to be successful.
Wow. That's awesome. Wow, you give a lot of good tips right now. Hold on.
I hope so. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like I'm worthy of like giving advice, but
of course you are. At the end of the day, regardless of whatever, you have a successful business that's in department stores. And not only that, was the first like of its kind to be in department stores. So, I mean, you're not giving yourself enough credit. I think you're definitely good for advice. So is there a single decision that you feel like totally changed the trajectory of Verona Collection?
Well, in a good way and a bad, I would say like in a bad way, it would be not creating structure from the get-go of the business. Like we were great at marketing, great at product, but things like making sure your contracts are on point or making sure you have your books right. This is very, very important and crucial to the success of a business. And if you really don't truly take the time to have a good structure in your company,
mm-hmm.
you're going to pay for it later. And we made mistakes at the beginning that we had to pay for later and learn the hard way. Thankfully, I'm glad I did because it was growing. I grew through it and we got through it. But that's one thing that it could have prevented us from having further issues if we created a good, solid structure from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk numbers. So you mentioned you guys started with $7,000. How much did you guys make in revenue, or you could talk profit in the first?
I am not allowed to talk about that, unfortunately. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry publicly. No, okay. Especially even with Macy's, there's certain things I'm allowed to talk about publicly and then I'm not. So
okay, all right. Not even a rough. Not even a rough.
I would if I could. I apologize.
That's fine. Okay, so we'll get into the e-commerce portion of it, just because Verona Collection, it started off as e-commerce, or was it always just?
It started off as e-commerce, and honestly, that is where I want to continue focus. That's if anything that the pandemic showed us is that how strong online shopping really is and where it's going. People prefer fast, easy shipping. Something that we're trying to improve on now. How can we get shipments out faster? How can we get them sooner? Because the reality is, we're not Amazon. You know what I mean?
You guys sell on Amazon, or?
We don't actually, and I'm kind of like not wanting to. I know that makes sense. I think it's bad for the brand.
Oh, okay.
We could eventually, but I'm not really feeling it at the moment. But people are conditioned to think that they can get packages and because they can, almost same day. And I don't think anyone's expecting us to be at, to the status of Amazon, but that's what we have to think. We have to think, how can we get the shipments out faster and how can the customers get it sooner? So we're trying to improve our logistics at the moment.
So in terms of e-commerce, there's a lot of people out there, especially these days during the pandemic, like you mentioned, they try to start out e-commerce brands and everything. What are 2 tips? Because obviously e-commerce, I feel like has changed a lot over the past 5 or 6 years. What are 2 tips that you would give to e-commerce entrepreneurs on their success, on how they can be successful?
I guess it could be in any direction. Do you mean as far as shipping or marketing or?
I think at the beginning stages, maybe marketing would probably be the biggest one. What do you think?
I mean, if I'm giving advice on marketing, I guess it's almost a broad question. Like where could I go on that?
Let's say I'm I don't know, I'm selling socks online. How would you go about the marketing?
Well, one, I think you have to like truly know your customer, like really know them. Where else do they shop? What's their lifestyle? What are they, someone that's looking for more affordability? Are they looking for what, as far as like, if I take my customer, for instance, are they someone that's going to be shopping at Zara, or are they someone that's going to be shopping, at I don't know, it's another brand. I can think about the top brand, but so you have to kind of think, what else do they like? And really know how to truly market to them, because you have to speak to them at the end of the day. They have all these other brands coming at them, and it's like, what makes you different?
Yeah.
And then also when it comes to things like logos and the name that you choose, I recommend, something that's so simple, but people don't necessarily think about it. Is it easy to spell? Is it easy to remember? Is the logo nice and clean? Is it timeless? Stuff like that actually matters. And then you have to check social media, like, are the names available on social media? These are little details that seem very simple, but people don't necessarily pay attention to it at the very beginning. So that's the biggest thing, is like, know your customer, because if you don't know who your customer is, how are you going to speak to them and how are you going to market to them? And then as far as just, you know, a business in general, not necessarily e-commerce, is you have to remember how many other brands that you're competing against. What makes you different? Like I said, is your product high, you know, is it high in quality? Is it people have so many options these days that you kind of have to hit it in all angles. Fast shipping, good quality, affordable pricing. So I think it's just the overall picture that you have to look at when you're starting a business and making sure you're hitting every angle.
Yeah, no, that's really,
I hope that answered your question.
It did.
I could go in a million different directions with that question.
No, that was good. All right, Lisa, I think I got all my questions done. Is there anything that you want to plug in here? Like, obviously VeronaCollection.com. I'll link the website and the Instagram pages and everything else. Is there anything else?
Our website's Verona-collection.com. We are, you know, like a lot of brands, we got really hit with the pandemic. So our factory is actually closed for like almost all of last year. And so we just felt that it was like a good time to kind of do like a really like a relaunch and a rebrand and just refresh everything. So we're doing this massive sale at the moment, selling off all of our products, and going to be releasing, you know, always trying to raise the bar. So we're going to be releasing, you know, a completely new hijab line, new clothing, and that's going to be coming out very soon. So
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate your time. And again, guys, hope you guys found those tips helpful. I definitely did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoyed that interview. If you guys like this podcast format or this interview type format, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget, sign up for my Patreon page in the description below. Also, get your free stocks at Webull. Like, subscribe if you found value in this video. And don't forget, guys, aim high, don't be shy. Thanks for watching The Iconic Show.